everyone and welcome to your Friday afternoon slice with Meg. Today is a pre-recorded video purely because it was supposed to be my hen party this weekend and I've decided to celebrate a little bit early. So I'll still be in the comments below at 2:30, but I've just got a lot of things to be getting on with to prepare for that. So somehow I've got to put a gazebo up in my garden, so we'll figure that out. But today we are going to be making a semi-naked cake. I've already pre-baked it. It's in the fridge chilling, ready to come out, and I will show you how I attempt how to decorate it. We're not using buttercream flowers today. We are going to instead use some lovely roses and some foliage that I got from a bouquet in the supermarket. And I'm going to show you a tip that I use to put these safely onto your cakes as well. So yeah, shall we get started and dive in? Okay, so here we have the lovely chocolate cake that I baked yesterday. I always find that baking cakes the day before lets them develop overnight. I mean, I just prefer a cake that's cooked the night before. I just think it brings out the more flavour in it. So we've got just a chocolate cake using a really standard recipe, and then in the middle I have put just some buttercream, and for this buttercream I've used 250 grams of butter, can be salted or unsalted. Then I've done 125 grams of Trex, and then I've also added 500 grams of icing sugar. So if you saw my post yesterday, my lovely fiance went to the supermarket for me on his way back from work and picked up some icing sugar and brought home a beast of a bag. So I think that's me set for the future. And that's just my simple buttercream recipe. I like to do my buttercream by hand, so with a hand mixer, purely because I just like to feel the consistency of the buttercream, and for me it just brought out a much better consistency for me. I love my standard mixer, don't get me wrong, and when I'm baking, you know, massive amounts of cake and buttercream, it's amazing but for this I've just just did it by hand today. So to achieve the semi-naked look, we are going to need a scraper. I got this from I think I bought it from Hobbycraft actually, and it's a Wilton scraper. And what's great about this is there's two different kind of widths on the scraper. So if you need more space for buttercream, you can use this side. Not so much, you can use that side. I prefer to use the thicker side though. You also need a palette knife. So I just use the standard one. I have got Bella's set with me as well. But yeah, this is my trusty palette knife. For the flowers later on, I'm going to use Safety Seal. Now this stuff is amazing. You literally just pop it in the microwave and it will melt the wax inside. So as you can see, it has been used. And then once it's melted, you dip your flowers in it, let it dry for, you know, a couple of seconds, then you can pop it into your cake, and that stops the you know, the residue from the flowers going into your cake and makes it completely safe. You can do other ways. So you can wrap in cling film. I haven't tried that yet, so maybe we can have a look later on and see. But you can also use posy picks or flower picks, and I think they're kind of available on all of the cake decorating websites, but for me it's Safety Seal. Okay, so after my ramble about what products I'm using, let's get into the cake, shall we? So I watched a video where it says to put the cake in the fridge overnight, and that will allow you to do a better kind of pattern, get your cake through, and it stops the crumbs. I also read that if you bake your cake just a little bit longer so the outside starts to caramelise, that will stop less crumbs. I think it does require a dense cake, so maybe a Madeira sponge would be better for your semi-naked cakes. But today I just used the standard chocolate cake because this is going to be the cake for my hen party tomorrow. Okay, so let's get in, shall we? So as I said, I've stacked it, filled it with buttercream. I've also put some simple syrup in it too, just to help keep the cake moist. And I'm now going to grab my butter buttercream and just place it on. God, this is the first time doing anything like this. I never show anyone how I decorate my cakes. So the way I do things might not be completely normal, or you know, the set way to do it, but for me it works. I'm also cack-handed, as people say. No, I'm left-handed, so I sometimes find it a bit tricky to do things. So if I am doing anything wrong, you know, just don't ignore it, but you call me out on it, you know, give me tips as well. We are all here to learn together after all, and oh my goodness, yeah, we're all here to learn together, which is great fun. So here we go, we're just adding this all on, put a bit on top as well. Sorry about the background noise. Again, Piccadilly Circus here in Portkellis. It's busy with the tractors. We've had a few buses come by. So that's good. So I will just cover all of this cake and then I will be back with you. So, just like magic, here we are. A very messily covered cake. But that's fine, we're going to make it look pretty in a minute anyway. I always believe that you've got to make a mess to make things tidy. So, even better. Okay, just move that there. So, now we are going to take our scraper. I'm going to use the thick side to scrape around my cake. I would recommend that you use a softer buttercream for this. So maybe not the type that you'd use for piping. I mean, when I'm piping flowers, I sometimes add a little bit more icing sugar into the mixture to get it, that much nicer for piping. But so you could put your bowl of buttercream in the microwave for a few seconds, a couple of seconds, probably say a couple of seconds, just to soften it up a little bit. I guess you kind of want, you know, like a margarine or, you know, clover type butter. You want that type of spreadable texture with it. So to achieve the semi-naked look, I basically just scrape away at the cake. And you can already see that some lovely lines are already coming through. I guess the key in this is to keep your scraper as clean as possible. So I will scrape a bit and then I will go back in and then just keep doing that. So I'm using my bowl off to the side to scrape it off, the trusty palette knife again. There we go, we can see some semi-naked textures coming through now, which is brilliant. That's what we want to achieve. I was actually thinking of doing this for my wedding cake. They seem to be all the rage at the moment, don't they, with rustic weddings and whatnot. But, well, unfortunately I've had to postpone my wedding due to coronavirus, so I've now got a whole another year to kind of plan what cake I want. But I don't know if you've seen in the group, but I love hydrangeas. So I did a blue cake with some like moulds basically and cutters to create wonderful hydrangeas. So now I'm thinking I kind of want that too. So who knows? Maybe I'll just do a different tier, a different buttercream technique or something, and then it will all come out in the end, eh? Lovely. So I'm just slowly going around. Like I said, there's probably different techniques for doing this, but this is the way I do it. And you know what? It seems to work pretty well for me. So now that I've got the excess kind of cream off, I'm just going around and pushing a little bit harder in some places. You can see I've got a gap there, so we'll fill that in a minute. Yeah, I'm going around adding pressure now, just kind of scraping bits off. Okay, so there, I don't know if you can see, we had a bit of a crumb issue. So I guess that's why they kind of recommend a denser sponge with a caramelised outside. Because yes, we've now got a mark in our buttercream, but we can fix that. You just grab some more. Smooth it over as if it never happened. Get back to your trusty scraper. There we go, look at that. Oh, this is looking wonderful. So same again, we've got this gap here at the bottom. We're just going to fill it in like that. The great thing about semi-naked cakes is that there's kind of no, it doesn't have to look perfect. I guess that's the imperfection that we are looking for, is the, the nakedness showing through. And I love cakes like that. I love cakes that there's, kind of no really set way that it needs to look perfect. There we go, I'm just going all the way around. I actually need to invest in a better kind of a Lazy Susan, is that what they're called? Turntables. I want one that really spins. It's this little £5 jobby from Wilko. Do you know what? It does the trick, but yeah, I would like a better one. Maybe I'll ask that as my wedding present. There we go. So I'm just angling the scraper a little bit more, putting more pressure on it, and I think I am kind of nearly happy with it. We've got some layers showing through, some not. That's kind of like a tree bark, doesn't it really? That would be great. So now I'm just going to smooth off the top. Don't forget we are covering this with some beautiful flowers. So always wipe that excess off. Okay. So let me know in the comments below, have you done a semi-naked cake before? How did it go? Or would you like to try it? And if you've got any tips and tricks, definitely put them in the comments. Because I'm still learning, I've only been baking properly really for a year and a half. Actually be two years in October. And I'm still a hobby baker, but obviously the ultimate goal, oh, you see that there? There's a little bit of a gap. The ultimate goal is to kind of be doing it full time. There we go. Problem solved, like it was never there. So there we go. You see the semi-naked effect that we've got going on. Do you know what? I'm so hungry right now. I just want to eat this. Right, so it is safety seal time now. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave. It recommends, okay, so high for 1 minute 30 seconds. And then if it's not fully melted, you just keep doing it in 10-second intervals. So I'll pop this in the microwave and then I'll be right back. Okay, so this has been melting in the microwave. I did just spill it over myself, so it is very hot, so please be careful, especially if you've got little ones around. So I've just done one here, and as you can see I've dipped it in, so this is all wax now, so it was just a stem like this, and now it's covered in wax, so that is now safe to go in a cake. So I'll just show you a couple. So you dip it in, I always take it back out and then I dip it in again, give it a couple of coats and let it dry. There we go, and that's now covered. This is great to do in advance, so if your cake is baking or something and you want to just find something to do, pop this on. So I think I bought mine from the, oh gosh, I got it from the Cake Decorating Company. And I know at Cakes International and the Cake and Bake Show that it's always in stock there. I don't think it was much, I think it was about £6, but don't quote me on that. There we go, can we see? So now we're just letting it dry. So I've got a mixture of flowers here and leaves. I'm not very good at naming flowers, so you have to tell me below. Yeah, we're just going to dip them and get them ready for our cake. Okay, so they are now all safety sealed. As you can see, they're looking quite lovely. They only took a few seconds to dry as well, which was really, really great. It's nice and cool at the moment, so that helped a lot. So I've done some of these pretty yellow flowers. These roses, they're looking lovely. I did also do some leaves, just as kind of like a filler for the cake. You know, if you've got any gaps and stuff, as we know, leaves make everything look better. So I've just filled a piping bag with some buttercream, and yeah, I'm just going to do a C shape along here. What do you think? Like that maybe. And I think that will help keep the flowers in as well. Like I said, I'm no florist, but we'll give it a go. So I think I'm going to start with the bigger flowers first. You know, pop them in. I've got some of these lovely white ones as well. Slide that one in. I guess the thing with the buttercream on top, it's ensuring that it's not really stabbing into the cake, which is good. And I think one more rose, because everything is better in threes, right ladies? We know that. There we go, a nice little display. And then I'll start adding some of these into. Look at that. I am no florist, but I think it's turned out all right. Oh gosh, Laura is going to be, I'll get a phone call off her, a text message later, no, you're doing it wrong. There we go, so we put a little rose down there. Maybe some of this too. So I am pushing this into the cake now, but because we've got the safety seal on top, perfectly fine. Oh, there we go. Ah. What do we think, ladies? Eh? What do we think? I'm quite happy with that. What do we think, eh? So there we have it, our finished piece. Just see a little bit here. There we go. Really, really simple, but so beautiful at the same time as well. I mean, you could do this with pipe flowers on top as well, which would look really, really nice. But yeah, right, well, I'm happy with that. There, so there we have it, a semi-naked cake with some fresh flowers on top. Now I've got to resist the temptation of all day to try and not eat this. Might be dessert tonight maybe. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's so simple, as I mentioned earlier, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I haven't really, so I've practiced semi-naked cakes before, but I've never really kind of proper gone for it. So this is amazing. I'm very, very happy with this. Now I want it to be my wedding cake, as I keep saying. So any questions or any tips that you have, please do comment below, and I will see you next week for your Friday afternoon slice with Meg. Stay safe and I'll see you soon. Bye!